Welcome everybody to today's BOE meeting. Thank you for coming. This meeting is being held in compliance with the Open Public Meeting Act and is open to the media and public. Effective March 1st, 2026, all legal notices and board meeting dates shall be only posted on the district website in conformity with state code. Formal action may be taken. Mr. Bowman, can you get a roll call?
Ms. Cassidy.
Here.
Ms. Fiore.
Here.
Mr. Lopes.
Here.
Ms. Metzer.
Here.
Mr. Pieros.
Here.
Mrs. Rath.
Here.
Mrs. Ryan.
Here.
Mrs. Pinto.
Here.
Mr. Rizzo.
Here. Will you please stand for a flag salute?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I'm going to start this meeting off with the President's report. I've done this a couple times over the last year and a half. I'm just going to take about 5 minutes of your time, and then we'll move to the Superintendent's report. First thing we'll do is I want to highlight a key updates at the beginning of tonight's meeting. First, over the past several months, the board has received significant outreach through emails and public comments. I would like to begin by thanking everyone who has taken time to share their perspectives. Public comment is a vital part of our process. The first BOE agenda session allows input before the board takes formal action. And the second provides an opportunity to speak on additional topics. Along with written communications, these avenues ensure the community's voices are heard and considered. We recognize there will be differing opinions, and while not all feedback results in action, every perspective is carefully considered. We encourage you to continue engaging with us. Second, I'd like to highlight our progress on the 26-27 budget. Over the past months, the board and administration have worked closely to develop a preliminary budget, which was passed on March 23rd. Our next step is to review and adopt the final budget at the April 28th meeting. Throughout this process, we have worked to balance rising cost pressures while keeping the local tax levy as low as possible. I want to commend the administration, the Finance Committee, my fellow board members for the collaboration on this critical responsibility. Third, our strategic planning work continues to move forward. At the end of this month, the strategic planning core team will meet over 2 days to develop draft goals for board review. This work has been informed by extensive community input, including one-on-one interviews, stakeholder meetings, and surveys. Our 5-year strategic plan is a key priority and one of the board's 4 goals. Thank you to everyone who has contributed their time and insights to the process. Lastly, I'd like to briefly explain how the policy committee works. In addition to budget oversight and strategic planning, policy setting is one of the board's most important responsibilities. Like most school districts in New Jersey, Reddington works with a policy vendor, Strauss Esme, to assist in drafting and updating policies. The policy committee reviews each update before coming to the full board. When required, policies must align with state statute. The district has discretion to modify language to reflect local priorities as long as it remains compliant with the law. Recently, we have completed review of our bylaws in the 1000 and 2000 series, and we are currently working through the 3000 series. We have also prioritized policies that require updates based on changes in statute. As part of this process, the committee has incorporated locally developed language into sections of the policies provided by Strauss Esme, with several examples reflected in the bylaws. Another example is Policy 7461, the district sustainability policy. Last updated in January 22, it is a comprehensive 10-page document. Across the state, there's a wide range of approaches. Some districts have no sustainability policy. Some have one that are 1 page long. Others have similar in scope to Remington. This highlights that while vendor provides a starting point, districts have both the flexibility and practice of tailoring policies to meet local needs. I'd like to thank the policy committee for their significant time and effort they have dedicated to this work. It's a substantial undertaking, and the commitment is greatly appreciated. In closing, I want to return to where I began by thanking our community. Your participation, either through BOE meetings, emails, surveys, or feedback sessions, plays an essential role in our work. We value your continued engagement and partnership. Thank you. Dr. Hart?
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Thank you all very much for coming out on such a beautiful evening to a Board of Education meeting. It's probably one of the top places you like to be right now. But we have a great night. We're here to recognize 2 groups of students, so I'm pleased to tell the Board of Education that we have to celebrate our Destination Imagination teams, and I'd like to highlight a educator inquiry project that was not only an educator inquiry project, but also a student inquiry project as well. I'll begin tonight with Destination Imagination. Like in years past, students from Hollenbrook School participated in the New Jersey Destination Imagination State Tournament. Destination Imagination is a program that required students to engage in research and regarding opposing themes, shadow storytelling techniques, and resolution truths. The students came together to highlight each other's strengths, to work collaboratively, and to communicate positively and effectively to achieve their goal. Our 2 teams, the first named Donut Island Dreamers, and the Fabulous Girlies and the T-Rex, took 2nd and 1st place respectively in the competition. To help me recognize these extraordinary students are their faculty advisors, Mrs. Mahoney and Mrs. Creeley, and we also have one of our judges, Hollenbrook staff member, Mrs. Adakari. Mrs. Mahoney and Mrs. Creeley, will you help me recognize these students? Come on up.
Thank you so much. We're very proud to be here in front of you all tonight to celebrate these teams. Dr. Hart explained their very challenging challenge this year, which was the most complicated I've seen in my 15 years of DI. So complicated, in fact, that we practiced wrong for most of the season, and they rolled with it on the day of the tournament, both teams. So they've been working together since late October to put together all of this for a challenge and a tournament in March. So we are very, very proud of them and all of the skills that they've developed.
So we miss seeing them once a week.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do. Because we had a lot of fun together.
How long is your club? How long does it last? Do you see them for
We
several months?
start in November and then the competition was in March.
Yeah. And we spent most of March together.
Yeah.
Many days in March. So
So you want to do Donut Island first?
Yes, we can do the Donut Island Dreamers. Those of them who can make it tonight, so we'll invite on Lila Fitzgerald.
Tessa Gardella.
We'll acknowledge Ella Mark, but she's not here tonight.
Deanne Salai.
Maristine Sharon, who is also not in attendance tonight.
Mark Spivey.
And Alexa Wolf.
Sure. Sure. One, two, three. Great.
fabulous girlies and a T-Rex. We will acknowledge the T-Rex, who's not here, but Nicholas DeGraziano. Cora Erd. Fiona Kirkson.
We will acknowledge Grace Lynch, who is not here.
And also Maggie Renda, who is not here tonight.
Addison Stokes.
And finally Savannah Wagner, who is also not here tonight.
Multi-talented.
Let's get a picture.
Fabulous girlies.
One, two, three. Perfect.
Thank you for being here tonight. Secondly, over 6 years ago, a team of individuals sat in this very room to craft Reddington's mission, vision, and strategic direction. Out of this meeting came a goal devoted to inquisitive learning. It spoke to the fact that our district sought to create an inquiry framework for students and teachers alike. Thanks to a grant from the College of New Jersey, 2 Hollenbrook school teachers were able to engage in an educator inquiry project. They presented various math lessons to 4th grade students to foster a growth mindset using real-world inquiry-based scenarios. The project was impressive and is an example that inquiry is now embedded in our school culture among students and teachers. Here to talk about their project are our teachers, Mrs. Winter and Mrs. Higman, along with students, Joanna Correa, Olivia Del Poli, Jameson Krajewski, and Nolan Pachuna.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being part of our presentation tonight. My name is Jen Higdon, and I'm a 4th grade math and science teacher at Hollenbrook School, and I've been teaching in Reddington for 25 years.
Hi everyone, thanks for being here. I'm Maria Winter. I teach math intervention. I've been at Hollenbrook School for 19 years. I've taught 4th and 5th grade and now math intervention. So the idea for this project came about when we started noticing many of our students having a fixed mindset towards mathematics. We would often hear comments like, math is hard. I'm just not good at math. I'm never going to be good at math. And we wanted to try to find a way to overcome that. And our idea was really to introduce a lot of real world math, but in a hands-on way. So taking a look at our current math curriculum, which is iReady, the lessons always start with what's called an Explore Day. So we decided to change that Explore Day a little bit, still make it exploratory, but more hands-on.
So the plan was to implement the project over the course of 2 integrated math units, each lasting 5 weeks. And we wanted to provide our students with hands-on, meaningful math experiences connecting to their real lives. So we ended up extending the project for 3 units because we were receiving so much positive student feedback and they were having so much fun. And so were we.
Yes. So we chose 4 of our students to share their favorite lessons, starting with Nolan. He's gonna talk to you about the dream bedroom.
Hi, my name is Nolan, and I chose the bedroom designing lesson because it involves money, which in my opinion is the most realistic and common time to use math in the real world. Also, adding money is the most important thing to know, because because it shows how to manage your money and it helps you realize what you need and what you want. In this lesson, you found items that you wanted to buy and you needed to manage the amount of things you wanted and the price of the items you wanted have to stay under budget. I think visualizing math and connecting it to the real world made me less anxious because I was able to choose what I wanted to do and it made me feel like I was actually shopping for bedroom furniture. Why managing your money is important. I think this lesson is important because it shows you how to manage your money. You need to know how to manage your money because when you're older, your parents are not in charge of what you buy. If you do not manage your money, that can lead to you buying too much and not saving enough. Also, you need to know how to manage your money so you can balance the amount of healthcare you need. You also need to buy a good house, and if you do not know how to manage your money, you will pay. Some tips about managing your money are: 1. Do not gamble your money, you can lose it. 2. Keep your savings in the safe in your house so it doesn't get stolen. 3. In big cities, keep your belongings in your front pockets and don't make them steal it. And lastly, save up money you earn for the things you need. Conclusion. In conclusion, I think the dream bedroom design lesson was the most important, fun, and realistic to real life. It is also the most important because it teaches you how to manage your money. And this lesson is the most fun because you can buy and design your room with anything you want. Finally, this lesson is the most realistic to real life because you buy things for gift and food in everyday life. That's why I think the dream bedroom lesson was the most important.
Okay, now we're gonna have Olivia share with you about our candy lesson.
Hi, my name is Olivia, and my favorite lesson we did in math was the candy lesson. In that lesson, we learned about multiplicative comparison. I learned that when you compare how much candy you have to someone else's, you're using multiplicative comparison to understand how many times as much one amount is. For example, Miss Aiken has 4 Skittles, and Miss Winter has 2 times as many Skittles as Miss Winter has. As Miss Aiken has, how much Skittles would Miss Winter have? And the answer was 8. This lesson made me feel less nervous about math this year. One thing I noticed from math was when we do problems from the book, students tend to not learn as well as they learn when we do hands-on math lessons. So the kids in my class loved the candy lesson, and they all did really well on our quiz on multiplicative comparison. So that's why my favorite lesson in math was the candy lesson. Plus, we got a piece of candy.
So next, we would like to bring up Joanna to talk about our holiday shop managers.
Hi, my name is Joanne. I chose the holiday gift shop challenge. This was a very fun lesson. I got to learn math while working with candy canes. In my opinion, working with the candy canes to do multiplication was way less nerve-wracking than doing a quiz or a couple of math pages. Like, what is not fun and jolly about candy canes? Also, working with the candy canes made math fun for me. Imagine learning something new and having fun while doing it. Well, actually, no need to imagine. We worked with candy canes. Working with the candy canes helped me learn how to make arrays and eventually how to multiply 2-digit by 2-digit numbers. For example, we had to make a display that had to be 13 candy canes across and 11 candy canes down. Then we had to figure out how many candy canes there were in total, which is 13 times 11. This lesson was not only fun, but it taught me how to multiply larger numbers in an exciting way. Also, we got to eat some candy canes. I love this lesson and hope you have more coming.
And finally, we would like to bring up Jameson, and he will be talking about the fidget spinner lesson.
The Fidget Spinner Lesson by Jameson. Hi, my name is James, and I'm going to be talking about my favorite math lesson this year. My favorite math lesson this year was the fidget spinner division. Here are 2 reasons why the fidget spinner was my favorite lesson. 1, I got to learn what the milliseconds were in seconds, and I was really wanting to learn that. Reason 2, I got to watch a video on how to work the fidget spinners and know when to stop the time. And best of all, I had so much fun. When I got the hang of it, I was not nervous at all about the lesson. And after that, I kind of forgot that I was dividing. One time when the fidget spinner was going, I forgot to stop the timer and get going. Oops, I just thought to myself, no big deal, I'll try it again.
Thank you to all the presenters, you were amazing. So this slide compares the diagnostic results for the AM class from the beginning of the year to the January diagnostic. And as you can see, the students went from 29% of students on grade level to 50% of students on grade level. And another important thing to notice is that every single student made growth, which is amazing. So the results of this survey show us that the project was a success, and we expect this upward trend to continue as we move towards our spring diagnostic.
We also have a PM math class, and this is the data from that class. So we started off the year with 39% of our students on grade level, and as you can see, this went all the way to 83% of students on grade level. So we were very impressed with this data. And we also did various surveys, interviews, and exit tickets throughout the year to get the students' perspectives. And we wanted to talk a little bit about that as well, because we felt that was important as well as the diagnostic data. So what we found throughout this 3 units was that it really was helping to reduce the feelings of math anxiety. We were now starting to hear comments of, I'm good at math and math is fun. And that was really the goal of the entire project. And whenever we would introduce a new skill by connecting it to the real world, we also noticed that students were better able to communicate to us in verbally, but also written, which was a challenge for them to write expressions about how they're feeling. And their exit tickets were wonderful. And they were always really excited to explain what they did, what skill they used that day. And that was just amazing to see that increased confidence and hear how much they are able to talk about math and just see the stress levels decreasing as we went through these inquiry lessons.
So how do these conclusions connect to the content? So when we combine the inquiry and anxiety surveys, student interviews, and the testing data, we learned that place value understanding is a crucial component to student success in 4th grade math. And we have some ideas for year 2 of the project. First, we thought we could begin the year with conversations in math about what math anxiety is, how to recognize its signs, and learning different ways to manage it. We really wanted to focus on inquiry and real-world connections for the first 3 lessons and meet with students on prerequisite skills rather than instructional grouping. We thought that would be important so that they could all show mastery of the skill, or that would be our goal. And we decided to create mini exit ticket assessments that are models of the standard and continue to meet in those small groups for students who haven't mastered the skills.
So we wanted to just share one last quote from one of our 4th graders. Like I said before, we had lots of exit tickets with amazing quotes, but this one stood out to us the most because it really demonstrated what we were trying to accomplish throughout this entire project. So this student said, I was not nervous because we were just having fun. And if I get it wrong, so what? I'll just fix my answer.
So we're having so much fun, we decided to continue the project for this year, and we have our students participating in mini math passion projects, and they're exploring their career interests and trying to learn ways that math connects to those careers, and we're so excited to see what they learn when they make their presentations. So thank you so much for your time tonight, we really appreciate it, and thank you again to our awesome students.
I have certificates to recognize the students who get a little prize too. Joanna. Everyone's welcome to stay, certainly, if you would like. Everybody laughs. I don't understand. Do you want to just take like 2 minutes? I'm sure we'll appreciate it.
So before everyone leaves, I just want to congratulate everyone from Destination Imagination. And I also want to say math was always my favorite subject too growing up. I do think math is fun. I thought the teachers did an excellent job, as well as the 4 students that presented. Your project's a fantastic job. I don't know if anyone else wants to make any comments. No?
I
Okay. Excellent.
I was impressed because I could relate to some of that, and then figuring out when I got into the real world how I might have missed out on some things that I started using, as an adult and working. So I thought that was fantastic.
Excellent. Great. All right. Excellent. Well, thank you very much. We'll take like a 1-minute break and then we'll start back up.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone, thank you for whoever has stayed. Thank you for staying. Our next item on the agenda is our first public forum. It is for comments for any item that is an action item on the agenda. If you wish to speak, please come up, state your name, your town you're from, and make your comments. There's a 3-minute time limit on each of the speakers.
Good evening. Is that a handout? Pass around? And it includes a letter that I sent today to the board, along with the letter my attorney sent on March 3rd, and a memorandum that we received.
Could you please state your name and town?
Anthony Sarah, President, White House Preparatory School, 587 Route
So,
22.
Mr. Sarah, I know we have your letter. Are you going to read your letter, or do you still want us to read it afterwards? Or
No, I'm not going to read the letter, yeah. I just want
Okay.
to make a couple of comments. Obviously, you could refer to my letter, I would appreciate that. But I just want to make it clear that on the agenda 3.04 is a motion to reduce our school from 4 classrooms to 2. We don't agree with that. I mean, it looks like almost on that agenda as if we consent to that. We do not consent to that. This came about, just so the board is clear, we participated in this program about 3 years ago when it first came about, the PEA, the Preschool Expansion Program. And we devoted all 4 of our classrooms to that program. We believe in Dr. Hart, we believe in the program. Wonderful resources for everybody. And so all of us joined together really could do an exceptional program. And we believe in that. And so we devoted our entire school to this program. And my wife's been teaching for over 35 years. White House Prep started in 2009 as a private preschool. So we have a great deal of experience in kindergarten and preschool. On January, around the first of the year, I was called to a meeting with Dr. Hart. Just me, not my wife. My wife is head of school, Judy. I'm the president. Just to talk to me alone. I thought I got sent to the principal. I felt like I was back in junior high. Like, what did I do wrong? Because I'm not sure why my wife wasn't invited to join me. But that's okay. I met with Dr. Hart in his office. There was no agenda. It was about this coming school year. And I received the memo that I just handed out, which had some issues, some concerns that he raised that were certainly doable. We talked about that. But at that point is when it was disclosed to us that it was his recommendation to take us down by 2 bathrooms. The first time I heard of that, there was no prior warning of that, and it took me by surprise, to be honest with you. And why my wife was not invited to that discussion kind of concerned me, to be honest with you. But I said to Dr. Hart, and talking just like this, I said, is that are we up for discussion about that? Or is that your decision? Oh, no, that's my decision. But where are these 2 classrooms going? To another private provider. So, meeting ended respectfully, and we started thinking, I guess we have 2 private classrooms now that we have to try to fill up. Half our revenue was gone. And Judy was upset. We're back to now in the private sector. It's a much different business model being part of this program. We now have to go back out and get private students. It's not easy. And it wasn't until I conferred with council that there's obviously a contract, the very contract you're being asked to look at today. It's a very comprehensive contract that regulates this very thing. It wasn't until it brought to my attention by my attorney that
You can continue. Go ahead.
that we needed to look at this. And clearly there is a whole protocol that needs to be filed. I followed in order to reduce classrooms. It's due process, part of the ins and outs of what the bargain was for us contributing our classrooms. So my concern tonight is, it seems like a letter is being sent to the DOE, Department of Education, and the DCF, which is what it says we need to do. I don't think that's ever been done. I don't know what that letter is gonna say. I have no idea what that letter is gonna say. Maybe you discuss it in executive session. I really have no idea. But it would seem to me that should be disclosed to us, to know what the basis is for removing those 2 classrooms. So I'm not sure how this board can vote to authorize a letter to the DOE to reduce our classrooms without knowing the basis for it. So I wanted to present that to this board tonight to demonstrate my concern over that. What are you voting on? So you have the right to do it, you have the right to articulate a basis for it. I don't know what the basis for that would be, but that's the merits of the issue, which I don't want to get into tonight. So I would ask that this board do not authorize that, and engage in some discussions with us as to what the issues were that brought this to a head to begin with. There's very little collaboration on whether we should maintain our 4 classrooms or not. But this is very important to us, that we try to avoid this conflict, to be honest with you, because it's not about that. It's about the children, about creating the best program for these 3 and 4-year-olds, and that we are committed to doing that. So my wife wants to say a couple of words as well. Thank you for your time.
Hello, I'm Judy Sarah. I just want to let you know, I'm sure you may know if you live in town, that I have been running a preschool in town for the past 15 years. I've been providing an outstanding preschool program. I've been a member of Grow New Jersey Kids since 2009. Grow New Jersey Kids is a high quality rating. I started in that program in 2009. I worked hard every day, and I work hard every day now because I am committed to the instruction of young children in this town. And I would like to continue that passion with as many children and as many parents as I've had want me to continue in that regard as well. Our school's been star rated twice. I've worked with state coaches, county coaches, and curriculum implementation specialists in my school. We built our program with a high accuracy score through that, and they were coaching us through. I worked alongside them, I'm used to that. Okay? I did it effectively for 10 years. Our curriculum that I was using was a curriculum that I had staff that were deemed to be endorsed by the curriculum that through our process of using a curriculum. I want to continue to do this for the children in Reddington Township. I was heartbroken when Dr. Hart set up a meeting with my husband that excluded me, and he told my husband that we were being reduced to 2 rooms. And he said his decision was final, and he didn't even ask me to come to the meeting. He told me I was not allowed to go to the meeting. Is that collaboration? I then, of course, started to advertise because what was I supposed to do? I went back to working like I always do. But parents came to me and said, Judy, why? Judy, why? I have younger children. I want them to come to your school. I want my child to come to my school. I want my friends to come. I'm here. I want to come to your school next year. I then looked at our contract, and sure enough, we do have a way to have our voice said about not having a reduction, and that's when we began to have legal support. I would like to have 4 classrooms next year. I am qualified to work with staff. I am committed to work collaboratively. I am committed to sharing what I've learned over the past 35 years as a kindergarten teacher, a first grade teacher. I worked here in Reddington Township for 10 years as a kindergarten teacher and first grade teacher, and a preschool teacher running that school for 15 years. I want to work collaboratively with the Reddington Township School District. I really, truly do. I want to continue that going. I want to build the best preschool program in the state of New Jersey, and I'm committed to doing that. And I hope you will consider that and consider keeping me in the realm of having 4 classrooms for next year.
Okay, anyone else?
None of them are relevant.
Okay. So we did receive a letter from Mr. Sarah that he would like us to read, so we are going to read that into the record now.
Thank you.
Dear Mr. Bowman and board members, this letter is in response to agenda item 3.04 relating to tonight's board meeting. Let me first state that it should be made crystal clear that White House Preparatory School strongly objects to a reduction in classrooms from 4 rooms to 2. This proposed action represents a reduction of 50% of our student body and revenue stream nearly $500,000. Without this revenue, the viability of the school is in serious jeopardy. It should be understood that the preschool expansion aid program is state funded, with the district serving as the conduit through which these funds are administered. Accordingly, both the district and private providers must adhere to the terms of the preschool education program contract that are entered into each year. In fact, the very contract you are being asked to approve tonight. That contract lays out detailed and explicit terms as well as due process requirements relating to the termination or modification of the relationship between the district and the private providers. Neither the superintendent nor this board has the unilateral right to affect the terms of a private provider's standing without being in compliance with the contract. As noted, the preschool education program contract sets forth in clear and unambiguous terms the basis for reducing classrooms of a private provider. In short, the contract provides that there can be a reduction in classrooms only if one of the following have been met: financial mismanagement, poor classroom quality, available in-district classroom space. None of these conditions have been met, nor apply in this case. The contract also requires that notice be given to the New Jersey Department of Education, Division of Early Childhood Services, and the Department of Children and Families, Office of Licensing, along with a full explanation in writing for the district's decision. As far as I know, the district has not had any contact with the DOE or DCF as it relates to White House prep school standings as a private provider. And if there has been any such contact, it has been without notice to WPS. An ex parte communications with any state agencies to reduce classrooms would be inappropriate and a breach of the contract. Before this board acts on this agenda item, it's wise to ask the superintendent several simple questions. On what contractual basis is the district seeking to reduce White House Prep School from 4 to 2 classrooms? What proof does the superintendent have that supports his decision to reduce the number of classrooms at WPS? What good faith efforts has the superintendent made to ameliorate any of his concerns that forms the basis for his decision and to reduce the number of classrooms at WPS? Is the superintendent prepared to expose the district to litigation over his decision to reduce the number of classrooms at WPS? Is the board ready to engage in litigation with a reputable, well-respected preschool in Reddington Township that has served this community well over the last 17 years? Over what? It should be noted that the initial reason Dr. Hart gave for reducing the number of our classrooms was to allow White House Prep autonomy over 2 classrooms. This was stated by Dr. Hart in a memorandum he issued to WPS on January 7, 2026. Enclosed is a copy of that memorandum. Thank you, but WPS is not seeking autonomy over its classrooms. WPS wishes to remain integrated with the PEA program and work cooperatively with the district as it has for the past 3 years. To the extent there is now a different basis for reducing the number of classrooms, that rationale has yet to be communicated to WPS. Is the letter you are voting on tonight justifying this reduction in classrooms going to say that it is to allow White House Prep autonomy over 2 classrooms? That was the reason we were given. I served on the Board of Education at Hunterdon Central High School for a number of years, so I have an understanding of how boards work and the politics at play. I also know that it is the board that serves as an integral buffer between the emotions of a superintendent and actions that may expose the district to unnecessary conflict and litigation. In this case, the board should know that WPS has been a willing participant in the PEA program since its inception 3 years ago, devoting its entire school, all 4 classrooms, to the program without hesitation. We believed in Dr. Hart and in his intentions to work collaboratively with all 4 private providers in our shared goal of creating a preschool program here in Bennington Township that was exceptional and outstanding. We were eager to be a part of that effort and to contribute in a way that was meaningful and constructive. For us, it was never about the money or developing a new business model. For us, it was and always has been about the children and how this unique partnership could produce amazing results if we just work together with respect and mutual admiration. We continue to have those ambitions. Judy, the head of school, works tirelessly to administer a preschool program that is high quality and safe for our young students. Over the past 35 plus years, Judy has earned a reputation of being a knowledgeable, caring, and inspiring kindergarten and preschool teacher and now administrator. WPS has a great deal to contribute to the PEA program in Bennington Township, as do the other providers as well. Admittedly, it can be challenging to administer at the district level a program that brings together the cultures and perspectives from various providers, all eager to have a say in the policies and procedures that define our core values. But in that challenge also lies the beauty and richness that can only come from people of goodwill and intentions working together for a common cause, inspiring 3- and 4-year-olds. Respectively, we ask the board to vote down this agenda item insofar as it approves a letter to the DOE seeking a reduction of 2 classrooms at WPS. First of all, we don't even know what the letter is or will say. How can a decision this impactful on the viability of a private provider be made when this board has not been informed of the basis for that decision? How can the board approve the sending of a letter to governmental agencies seeking to challenge a contract that has the potential of exposing the district to litigation when the content of the letter has not been disclosed? If the content of the letter is known to the board at this time, then the public has the right to see that content in an open forum like this. In closing, this board should know that WPS stands ready, willing, and able to continue to work cooperatively and collaboratively with the district in fulfilling its responsibilities as a private provider of the PEA program. The very contract you are being asked to consider tonight requires us to do that very thing. Purpose of agreement: the district shall work collaboratively with the provider to meet the requirements of the elements of high-quality preschool programs. We hope the board sees and appreciated the good faith we bring to this situation in the spirit of maintaining our partnership with the district. On the other hand, if challenged, WPS will do what if necessary to protect its interests and contractual rights as one would expect from any reputable private provider. Respectfully submitted, Anthony J. Sarah, President, White House Preparatory School.
Thank you, Melanie. Any other comments in this public forum?
I think there were a series of emails that were sent. Will they be read or just for the record? Emails from the public were sent, I believe.
Oh, no, they don't get read into the record. Unless they're specifically asked to be read into. And no one has specifically asked to read into it. But what we do is we put them on with the board secretary. We file them away. So if anyone asks for them, they're available. This is the open public. But at this point, we don't read them unless they're asked to be read.
Okay, so it's just part of,
Yeah, and we do acknowledge them. So on the next BOE meeting, you'll see letter from the initials were sent in, so people know that they were made available.
but this board has seen those.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, so I am going to, I usually do this at the end of every public session. We just go over a portion of the policy. And that in our policy, we don't directly comment on comments made by the public at the BOE. meetings unless it's something very specific, like administratively and so on. So generally, we do not make comments during the public session. In regards to the one item on the reason for, that's going to be in the letter, we did, Dr. Hart and I did speak prior to this with our attorney, and we did mention that we would publicly state what that reason is. So Dr. Hart, if you want to mention it.
There are, as the board and the public know, there are 3 reasons that Mr. Sarah even identified in his letter regarding the preschool program and the contractual provisions for non-renewal. They include fiscal management, poor classroom quality, and available in-district space. At this point in the year, we've identified available in-district space where classrooms can be moved. That's the rationale behind the letter that the board will be approving tonight.
Okay, thank you. Okay, since there's no other comments, I am going to close out the public session, and then we're going to move to the action items of the agenda.
So just so it's clear, I'm not going to respond to that. That's not appropriate, I guess. But I will be responding to that, not in this form.
Okay.
But then the basis for that is that there's now in-district room for these 2 rooms? Is that the rationale?
That is what the rationale will be in the letter.
Okay,
That's
I
correct.
just want to be clear on that. For the 2 rooms?
Yes.
So there's 17 altogether, right?
Okay. Our next item on the agenda is correspondence. We've received 7 emails within the last month. As I mentioned earlier, they're on record with the board secretary that people could request to see them if needed. Our next item is board actions. We have, the first one is approval of minutes. We have items 201 to 202. Can I get a motion and then a second on those 2 items?
I'll move.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, Mr. Lowe?
Mrs. Cassidy.
Yes.
Mrs. Fiore.
Yes.
Mr. Lopes.
Yes.
Mrs. Menzer.
Yes.
Mr. Pieros.
Yes.
Mrs. Rad.
Yes.
Mrs. Ryan.
Yes.
Mrs. Pinto.
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo.
Yes.
Passes.
Okay. Our next item is finance and facilities. We do not have a committee meeting this month, but we do have 4 items to move. Items 301 through 304. We have a motion and then a second?
Motion.
Second. Second, okay. Any discussion on 4 items? Okay, Mr. Bond, you have a roll call.
Mrs. Cassidy.
Yes.
Mrs. Fiore.
Yes.
Mr. Lopes.
Yes.
Mrs. Menzer.
Yes.
Mr. Pieros.
Yes.
Mrs. Rad.
Yes.
Mrs. Ryan.
Yes.
Mr. Pinto.
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo.
Yes.
Passes.
Our next item is our education technology section. We do have a committee report, but before we read that, we have 6 items to move, 401 through 406. Can I have a motion and then a second?
Motion.
Second.
Second, okay. Tyler? Committee report.
Yes, we met on March 24th, which was a reschedule from our snowstorm. It was originally supposed to be February 23rd. And then on the agenda, we went over mid-year iReady results. Comparison data was presented by Stacey Brown, Sarah Patch. Data shows comparison between students from some neighboring districts and compares to state average. When comparing this data, we can see that our district is meeting or exceeding those districts. There are some differences. These differences are due to the student population. Charts show some mid-year results are under 50%, but in the past, that has been corrected by the end of the year. And most results are at or above 50%, which is expected at mid-year. A chart was presented on reading and math growth per building for non-English learners versus English learners. Charts are showing growth. A board member asked how many teachers have SEI and training, and Anthony Timoth stated SEI training for all 3 Bridges and White House teachers will be completed by next school year. A board member asked how many students were in intervention. Intervention students average 20 to 25 per building. Further discussion led to questions on how many students test out of intervention classes. The only way to tell is to look at the release rate. In addition to, it was explained that parents don't always consent to intervention for students. Intervention students' numbers and release rate will be shared with the committee. Spring Teacher Academy was underway. The new Teacher Academy catalog is now digital via the software and Google website. This has streamlined the process for signups and also give teachers reminders. Anthony Tomolo in-service day was on March 13th. They met diverse needs of staff based on grade level. Several sessions included creative curriculum, a workshop on understanding accommodations and modifications, articulation across grade level, and understanding key takeaways from iReady consultant. End of the day, teachers were able to unwind with games, food trucks were available, and teachers had opportunities to win prizes. A board member asked if paras were asked to go to the in-service day. Paras had their own in-service day specifically for them in October. Climate survey was offered to paras for input. Their voices have been heard and changes have been made for next year's in-service day schedules. Anthony Tamula also presented on the Parrot Academy, which is on March 25th, 6 p.m. Information is on the Google website. The Academy offers different sessions. Parents asked if they would be interested in presenting, and Dr. McCrae, a local veterinarian, is offering a session on how dogs communicate and what kids should know. A board member suggested sending out separate Genesis blasts to inform all the parents. Cursive handwriting law update, Stacey Brown stated that the law will have minimal impact due to the fact that we already have cursive handwriting in third grade. Adding it to fourth and fifth grade will have minimal impact due to it being the same program and no added costs. NJSLA updates, changes made by the state have been administering the test have made the test more challenging. Principals and teachers have been helpful in adjusting schedules for testing. There are 50 questions split into two sessions. 75 questions. 50 questions? I have 50 and 75.
Wait, hold on a second. 50 questions.
50 questions.
With two sessions, 75 minutes each.
Minutes.
Should be minutes. Yep.
Thank you.
You got it.
Each session. Some other changes are math and reading are adapted. The questions are in groups of 3 to 4 and change depending on the student answers. Teachers will explain the changes to the students. Typical agenda items include student, teacher, placement, fundraisers, etc. Next meeting will be April 20th, 2026.
Thank you, Pat. Any comments or discussion? Okay, Mr. Bone?
Mrs. Cassidy,
Yes.
Mrs. Fiore,
Yes.
Mr. Lopes,
Yes.
Mrs. Mentor,
Yes.
Mr. Pieros,
Yes.
Mrs. Rad, Mrs. Ryan,
Yes.
Mrs. Pinto,
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo.
Yes.
Passes.
Okay, our next item is our personnel section. We do not have a committee report this meeting, but we do have 5 items to move. Items 501 through 504. Can I have a motion and then a second?
I'll second.
Second. Okay. Any discussion? Okay. Mr. Bone?
Mrs. Cassidy,
Yes.
Mrs. Fiore,
Yes.
Mr. Lopes,
Yes.
Mrs. Mentor,
Yes.
Mr. Pieros,
Yes.
Mrs. Rad,
Yeah.
Mrs. Ryan,
Yes.
Mrs. Pinto,
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo.
Yes.
Passes.
Our next item is policy communication. Once again, we do not have a committee report this month, but we do have one item to motion. Item 601. Can I have a motion and then a second?
I'll move. I'll second. Okay.
Any discussion? Okay, Mr. Bone?
Mrs. Cassidy,
Yes.
Mrs. Fiore,
Yes.
Mr. Lopes,
Yes.
Mrs. Mentor,
Yes.
Mr. Pieros,
Yes.
Mrs. Rad,
Yes.
Mrs. Ryan,
Yes.
Mrs. Pinto,
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo.
Yes.
Passes.
Okay. Next item is unfinished business. No items on the agenda, but anyone want to bring anything up? Okay, move to new business from the board. Any items anyone wants to bring up? Okay. Next item on the agenda is our second public forum. This is for any items on or off the agenda. Similar to last time, speak for 3 minutes. Please come up, state your name and your town, and just come up.
My name is Kathy Chernia, and I live in Reddington for 18 years, so I am deeply invested in the issue of book censorship because of my kids attending all the schools, including this one. Today, I will point out the hypocrisy of book censorship versus conservative values. I call today's lesson liberty for me, but not for thee. Individual liberty and limited government are core tenets of conservatism. Do you even know that? Or is conservatism dead? Having committee members picking and scrutinizing books screams big government. Invoking parental rights and giving full veto power to the parents supporting the bans while the other side has no recourse screams big government and violates our kids' liberties. Do you care about our kids' liberties? Do you? I do, and I'm a goddamn liberal. Also, does government overreach ring a bell? There is nothing conservative about book bans and watch lists. This is a domain of authoritarians, dictators, and fascists. The irony here is that people like you, who promote censorship, are usually the same people that need to be schooled in the very topics you are banning. For example, people that support the banning of the book Mouse probably have very poor understanding of Holocaust and would stand to benefit from reading it. People trying to ban the book Me and Earl and the Dying Girl and are offended by the oral sex joke that they could honestly learn a thing or two by picking up a copy of a sex ed book. Frankly, cloaking fascism in conservatism is just stunning. And I can't believe this ideology has made its way to America and to my neck of the woods. Learning about the life complexities, some of them dark and uncomfortable, sparks young imaginations to think outside the box. Living in a sterile bubble produces lazy thinking, which produces lazy thinking, closed-minded kids with lazy, closed-minded aspirations. In conclusion, I want to announce that I will be starting a Facebook page, followed by a TikTok, and calling out the stupidity and hypocrisy in our government, starting with this committee. You inspired me. I will be contacting organizations and people I already know and make connections with to collaborate with me, to speak out in a space where I can create a movement, to call out the BS, because I don't think anybody ever did in this area. If you are pissed as I am, join me. If you are as fed up as I am, join me. If you are ready to dispel the misinformation spread on the local MAGA websites, join me and don't be intimidated. This will not be a private account, and it will be called Dems in the Wild. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else like to speak?
Hi everybody, my name is Catherine DeLuca from Reddington Township, District 6. I wanted to talk tonight regarding Regulation 2535, and namely the fact that I've expressed previously that I'm not in support of Section C of this provision. One of the things that I wanted to address tonight has been a topic of discussion a lot, and that's the question of protection of students. One thing that really stuck out to me is the delineation between student safety, which is absolutely the purview of the board, versus protection, because the difference seems a little bit fuzzy. So when we talk about things like student safety, I assume that the board has metrics that they have for things like suicide rates, fire safety, things along those lines. What I'm concerned about specifically in the context of reading and resource materials is the fact that things that are being portrayed as protection are being confused with safety. There is not necessarily any connection between what students are reading and how safe they are in schools. I know that this is a bit of a convoluted point that I'm trying to make, but it's something that, listening to all of the varied discussion that's been going on, everybody's been very committed to ensuring students are protected, students are safe. But I don't know necessarily that safety extends to what is being read in the classroom, if there's any particular statistics that the board is drawing on in terms of that. So it's just something that I wanted to bring up for consideration. That's all I have for tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments. Would anyone else like to speak? Anyone online?
I think there might have been one that was.
Okay. At that moment, I
There's just
will.
one here.
There was, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's one here at the bottom. It says, at JV 6712, well said.
I think if you scroll, I thought I saw one.
Oh, no. Yeah, a lot of them were from, I believe.
Maybe not. I thought I saw somebody had a question.
Someone had a
Yeah,
question.
maybe not. Okay, I thought I saw one.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Maybe not.
It's just I know. Okay.
Just,
Did you delete, was there one that wasn't relevant?
The ones that are wrong, they're not
Right, okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, we're good.
okay, excellent. So they're just to let everyone know they can't see the screen. There's just a bunch of shout outs for the students earlier, congratulating them on the presentations that they did and the awards they received. That being said, I'm going to close the public forum session, and our next item on the agenda is adjournment. I will move for adjournment. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, can I get a vote, Mr. Bell?
Ms. Cassidy.
Yes.
Ms. Fiore.
Yes.
Mr. Lopes.
Yes.
Mrs. Menzer.
Yes.
Mr. Pieros.
Yes.
Ms. Rath.
Yes.
Mrs. Bryan.
Yes.
Mr. Pinto.
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo.
Yes. Okay, thank you everyone for coming this evening.
I have a question. Is this confidential? It was handed out to us.